Tonight on News Channel 12, live at 6, a student is in custody after threats on WKU's campus. Why faculty were the last to know.
And after a tragic in Paris, the manhunt for the one responsible is still underway.
Is News Channel 12 live at 6, where commitment makes the difference.
Good evening. You're watching News Channel 12 live at 6 for Tuesday, November 17th. I'm Hattie Baji.
And I'm Lexi Ratterman. Tonight, we're bringing you a developing story. German officials are investigating what they say was a serious plan for explosion. These threats prompted the evacuation of a stadium before a soccer match. We'll bring you more details as they unfold via our social media. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at WKU News Channel 12 and on Twitter at WKU News 12.
A WKU student is facing felony charges after being arrested for making threats against Greek students on social media. Campus police linked threatening posts on Yik Yak to Ryan Yerger Ashford after matching an IP address to his cell phone. WKU police arrested Ashford and sent an email informing students. Faculty received official notice the following Monday. WKU Director of Media Relations Bob Skipper says faculty had prior access to the news via social media. Ashford is on interim suspension until later notice. And students and faculty at WKU mourn the loss of a fellow Hilltopper. Many students gathered for a vigil Sunday evening to honor the life of the freshman student. The medical examiner's office is awaiting results from a toxicology report. The family has started a GoFundMe page to help with the funeral costs.
And with the loss of one student, the WKU community came together to mourn, just like much of the world has come together to mourn for Paris.
There were two explosions within about 3 minutes of each other. People didn't know what was happening.
The skies have been darkened by the horrific attacks.
France's president has declared war on ISIS after Friday's deadly attack in Paris left 129 people dead. As the city heals, efforts to defeat those responsible continues. CNN's Diane Gallagher is in Paris with an update.
French investigators are uncovering new links between the men who carried out Friday night's deadly attack in Paris and ISIS leaders in Syria. They believe this man, Abdelhamid Ahboud, is the mastermind of the attack. He's a Belgian citizen with direct ties to ISIS chief Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Now, overnight, France's interior minister says that police carried out 128 new raids. 115,000 law enforcement officials have been mobilized across the country to help them. Meanwhile, throughout Europe, police are looking for this man, believed to be the 8th attacker in Friday's rampage. He's Salah Abdeslam, a 26-year-old French citizen. Now, France is bringing the fight to ISIS. The aircraft carrier Charles de Gaulle has been deployed to the eastern Mediterranean to assist in the air campaign. On the diplomatic front, Secretary of State John Kerry is in Paris. Meeting with President François Hollande, he promised the U.S. would stand shoulder to shoulder with France in hunting down ISIS.
They are, in fact, psychopathic monsters. And there is nothing civilized about them. So this is not a case of one civilization pitted against another. This is a battle between civilization itself and barbarism.
With WKU being a school with international reach, 8 students were in Paris for the weekend while on their study abroad trip. 8 University of Kentucky students and 15 Asbury University students were also in Paris. Asbury students created a video and shared it with those back home to show that they were safe. WKU and UK students also reached out to let their loved ones know they were safe. After the Paris attacks, many took to social media to show their support for the city. One way you can support Paris is to change your Facebook profile picture to a blue, white, and red filter. You can also use the hashtag #PrayForParis. But here on the Hill, we're also showing our support. WKU lit up the symbolic Cherry Hall blue, white, and red.
Kentucky Governor-elect Matt Bevin is standing with the 27 other states opposing Syrian refugees. Bevin is speaking out against the Syrian refugee resettlement plan in light of the recent Paris attacks. Bevin says, quote, "It is imperative that we do everything in our power to prevent any similar attack by evildoers from taking place here in America." He continues, Syrian nationals could also serve as a risk to citizens. Though Democratic Governor Steve Beshear advises Kentucky to welcome refugees, Bevin stands firm in his opinion. The attacks are also leading various other U.S. governors to crack down on accepting Syrian refugees. Several states, including Indiana, Illinois, and Massachusetts, say they are spending Syrian resettlement. They want the federal government to assure residents will be safe. Other states, including Texas and Alabama, say they won't accept Syrian refugees at all. However, President Obama advised leaders at the G20 summit in Turkey that shutting access to Syrian refugees is not the right response.
We do not close our hearts to these victims of such violence and somehow start equating the issue of refugees with the issue of terrorism.
Republican presidential candidates are also responding. Candidate Ben Carson called on Congress to block funds for programs that would allow Syrian refugees into the U.S. And fellow Republican Donald Trump said he would strongly consider closing U.S. mosques due to the Paris attacks. Once refugees leave their country to come to the United States, a long process begins. The Department of State completes a biographic and case records review to determine the best relocation options. Upon arrival, refugees are greeted at the airport to take their furnished apartments containing clothing, appliances, and food. They then begin applying for Social Security, school registration, medical appointments, and social or language services. Employment is highly encouraged as the point in time as well. After 1 year, refugees must apply for permanent residence and is eligible to apply for U.S. citizenship 5 years later.
Paris and WKU are not the only communities mourning the loss of innocent lives. Scottsville, Kentucky is coming together to help one family grieve over the loss of their young daughter.
The rain that fell from the skies over Scottsville, Kentucky today largely matched the tears of Amy and Brian Doolin.
She always smiled.
She laughed at everything, things that wasn't even funny.
In Amy's hands,
And her hair was beautiful.
a small reminder of the daughter she has lost.
She was a very happy little girl. She was.
It was Saturday night. Gabby Doolin was cheering on her older brother at a youth football tournament behind Allen County Scottsville High.
She knew where she was supposed to stay.
The 7-year-old went with some friends to the concession stand and never came back.
I was just screaming her name and stopping everybody that I seen. And I was saying, if you see a little blonde-headed girl wearing all pink, if it's my little girl, she's missing. And I just kept running and screaming, Gabby, Gabby.
Gabby was missing for 30 minutes before she was found murdered near this small pond.
She wasn't gone for that long. It happened so fast.
You cannot imagine the kind of pain this woman is living with right now.
And I thought she was safe. You never know. You just don't ever know.
What hurts their broken hearts even more is that whoever did this, whoever killed their little cheerleader, is still out there.
I want justice for what happened to my baby. She was my baby. They took her away. And I want justice.
Justice is what they need now, but what they want is to have their daughter back.
I want her to be home with me. And they took her away.
Authorities are still investigating the murder.
New data by the Kentucky State Police reveal an increase in highway fatalities this year. So far, there have been 649 fatalities on Kentucky highways compared to 578 at the same time last year. As the holiday season approaches, Kentucky State Police encourage drivers to be as cautious as they travel and to always wear a seatbelt. Kentucky State Police are also warning drivers to be cautious of deer. It's hunting and mating season, and more deer means increased driving risks. Was out at Fountain Square Park earlier on the latest for the Bowling Green Fairness Ordinance.
Paige Hagan here in downtown Bowling Green at Fountain Square Park, where you see over a couple dozen people are here to support LGBT awareness. They're marching right now to the City Hall to present a petition that has over 1,000 signed supporters, including over 100 local businesses. They are going to present their idea to the City Hall commissioners in front of the mayor as well to bring attention to, as part of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 that prohibits discrimination in employment. This march is sponsored by the Bowling Green Fairness Coalition. Now, what's interesting, I learned that BG is the largest city besides Owensboro that hasn't passed a local civil rights ordinance to include LGBT in the Anti-Discrimination Act. Louisville and Lexington were actually the first to pass this in 1999, and cities like Covington, Frankfort, and Danville since followed. Reporting from downtown Bowling Green, Paige Hagan, News Channel 12.
Storm Center 12's Arden Gregory now joins us for our first look at weather.
Thanks, Hattie. We had some rain move through earlier today, but that moved out right around 9 a.m. and the rest of the day we have been dry, but it has been cloudy and it has been windy. Wind gusts across the state have ranged from anywhere to 20, 25, as high as 30 miles an hour in some places. But if you thought it was windy today, just wait until we get to tomorrow. We are already under a wind advisory from 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. for tomorrow. We are expecting winds to be anywhere between 15 and 25 miles an hour with gusts as high as 40 miles an hour. So again, very, very windy tomorrow. Make sure you take whatever precautions you need to prepare for that. Coming up later in the show, I'm going to be giving you a little more information on that wind advisory, as well as when we can expect our next storm chance and what you can expect for your weekend. Back to you all.
Thanks, Arden. Coming up on News Channel 12 after the break, reporter Amanda Johnson has a story that you won't find anywhere else.
And a non-traditional high school graduate. More after the break.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to theshelterpetproject.org and meet if you are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener and loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to theshelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If the door's locked, knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't stare, don't use bad language, or talk with your mouth full. Keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give your seat up to anybody who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you want to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
Good talk.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Students on campus are raising awareness for a good cause. Last week, WKU's Alpha Zeta Delta sorority held a fundraiser for Autism Speaks. Autism Speaks is dedicated to funding research into the causes, prevention, treatments, and cure for autism, increasing awareness of autism spectrum disorders, and advocating for the needs of individuals with autism and their families.
Autism actually affects 1 in 68 children and 1 in 42 boys, and autism is the fastest growing disease within children.
You also has a program on campus that ensures an educational, social, and supportive environment for those who are on the autism spectrum.
And reporter Amanda Johnson now joins us with a story about a unique student with autism.
Thanks, Lexi. It's not unusual for a man to love his car, but what about a man who loves hundreds of cars? I caught up with Jimmy Humphrey, a WKU student with an unusual passion.
Jimmy Humphrey's love for Honda Accords began more than 4 years ago. After riding in a few 2008 and newer model Accords, Humphreys decided to begin what he now calls his Honda program.
And at some point along those lines, I decided that there's a lot of these cars out there. Let's see how many of these I can ride in.
Humphrey networks around WKU's campus through different organizations to find Honda owners.
He found me through one of my brothers in my fraternity, and he contacted me on Facebook and texted me and asked me about his Honda program and asked if he could go for a ride.
You're the first Kappa Sigma whose car I've ever ridden in my whole life. Nah, just the first Accord.
Humphrey also believes being on the autism spectrum impacts his passion for Hondas.
And I have Asperger's syndrome, so I don't really know what drew me to Accords, but something did, but just something that kind of happened organically in my mind. There's nothing wrong with me.
Was more than happy to help and offers this advice.
Give Jimmy a ride ASAP, as soon as you can, because it'll be worth it.
Ruanto marks Humphrey's 184th Honda ride. Humphrey wants everyone who may be skeptical about his program to know one thing.
That it's legitimate, that it's something that I legitimately enjoy a great deal, and that I only mean good, and that it's caused good in my life.
Reporting for News Channel 12, I'm Amanda Johnson.
Later in sports, a look at how the men's basketball team is faring on the court.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Thanks for joining us. Arden Gregory joins us with weather to tell us what it's going to be like this week.
So obviously it felt amazing out today. Is this weather hopefully going to stick around?
Unfortunately, tomorrow will not be nearly as nice. It is going to be rainy and it is going to be extremely windy. So you're going to need that umbrella, but you're not really going to be able to use it because the wind's going to blow it away. It's going to be a miserable day to be outside if we're being honest with you. Again, we do have that wind advisory that is going to be going into effect at 3:00 a.m. tomorrow, and it will run until 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. That is for much of south central Kentucky, and that's because we are expecting winds between 15 and 25 miles an hour with gusts as high as 40 miles an hour. So again, very windy in addition to the rain that we're already expecting tomorrow. Currently, it's not too bad though. Temperature of 66 degrees right now, winds out of the southeast at 10 miles an hour. Again, will be increasing as we go through the night. But today, like they said, rather pleasant once we got that rain out of here this morning. High of 71 degrees, well above average for this time of year. And our low, warm as well. We started out warm this morning with a low temperature of only 53 degrees. But again, that will be changing. Today's highs across the region were rather nice. Louisville a bit cooler at 65. Nashville a little bit warmer than we were at a temperature of 74 today. Currently, we have cooled off quite a bit. Louisville still right around 64 degrees, but Nashville dropping down to 67 at this time, only 1 degree warmer than we are. Regional satellite radar shows the rain that is off to our west. Again, we just have cloud cover in Bowling Green right now, but you can see this large band of rain off to our west. That will be working its way toward us, and that's what's going to be bringing us all this rain for tomorrow. The 36-hour forecast shows this. This rain is all due to this cold front that is again draped off to our west. That is going to begin to work its way toward us as we go through the overnight hours, and by tomorrow morning it will be upon us. Many of you can expect a wet commute tomorrow morning. That will be with us throughout the day today, or tomorrow rather, by noon, right in the thick of it. Again, plenty of rain in addition to that wind. Just avoid walking outside if you can. And then that will push out fairly quickly though. By about 3-4 p.m. it'll be pushing on out of here and off to our east, and we won't have to worry about it anymore, but it will be bringing us a drop in temperatures because again, that rain is due to a cold front. Tonight though, 60 degrees for our low, so not too terribly cold, a rather mild night. There is a chance we could see some showers and maybe even a thunderstorm earlier on in the night, but we're not expecting most of that to get here until the very early hours of tomorrow morning. Those winds though will be increasing as we go through the night. Tomorrow, again, not too terribly cold, but very rainy. We could see some thunderstorms in addition to this, and very, very windy. We do have that wind advisory in effect throughout the day tomorrow until about 3 p.m. 5-day though, it will cool off after Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, both clear. Then Saturday, another cold front moves through, drops the temperatures even more, and we are expecting high temperatures to only be in the 40s at the start of next week. Back to you all.
Thanks, Arden. Coming up, Tyler Pohl joins us with a look at sports.
You can expect volleyball, football, and everything in between.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Maybe he's really focused.
Hey, Michael. Michael. Maybe he likes spinning the wheels.
Maybe he just loves trucks.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Preoccupation with objects is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
This new dad is picturing a tree house in the sky, but he's ignoring the instructions. Good luck, big guy. His kids know that he's building without a clue. Never been so good with nails and glue. Now we're trapped inside a box. I hope mom knows what to do. Mom! See, you don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent.
Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are.
Is killing it this fall. The ladies bring their 28-3 season record into tourney play as CUSA's #1 seed. Up first is the 8 seed Thundering Herd, whom the Tops have already beaten twice this season. The Tops are led by first-team all-conference selections Noelle Langenkamp, Alyssa Kavanaugh, and Jessica Lucas. The teams are set for first serve at 5 p.m. in San Antonio on Friday. Alyssa Kavanaugh says it's a unique challenge to be the top seed in the conference tournament.
And because you have to stay good for the whole conference season, and for a tournament you just have to stay good for 3 days. So winning this means so much to our team, and I think it's a big deal. So.
What started out as a close game in Diddle Arena on Saturday night turned into a 20-point win for WKU. The Tops welcomed Division II Campbellsville to Bowling Green, and for a while it looked like the Tigers were going to keep it close. But that was not the case, as the Tops used a pair of major runs before and after halftime to put the game out of reach. Nigel Snipes led the Tops on the night with 24 points, including 5 out of 10 from behind the arc. Up next for the Tops, a road matchup tomorrow evening against Belmont in Nashville. And while basketball might just be getting started, WKU football is hitting crunch time in the regular season. Sitting at 8-2 on the season, they face an FIU team that has been inconsistent so far. After starting the season with a win over in-state rival UCF, the Panthers have somewhat been unpredictable. They entered the game Saturday sitting at 5-6 on the season, and their defense has given up at least 30 points in each of their in 5 out of their last 6 games, which will bode well for Dowdy and the WKU offense. From college football to high school football, Kentucky is 2 weeks into the Gridiron Bowl playoffs, and this week the undefeated South Warren Spartans welcomed Allen County Scottsville to chilly Bowling Green. Mistakes cost the Spartans early, with major yard-gaining plays being called back for penalties. But Allen County just could not get anything going on offense, and this one was all Spartans. Despite leading 14-0 at half, the Spartans used back-to-back touchdowns early in the third quarter to break the game open. The Spartans would add 6 more later and end the game with a 34-7 victory. That's all I've got for you tonight, but for a full rundown of all WKU and Bowling Green sports, tune into the Extra Point Thursday at 6 p.m. We'll be right back after the break.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to the shelterpetproject.org and meet if you are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener who loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to the shelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If the door's locked, knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't stare, don't use bad language, or talk with your mouth full. Keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
Don't interrupt. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give your seat up to anybody who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you want to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
Good talk.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
A once stray dog is now a beloved hero after donating multiple pints of blood several times to other furry four-legged friends. His name is Rascal, and now he's the star of the Corbin Vet Clinic. Once Deborah Barry Bryant, a vet technician for the clinic, took him home after her daughter found him by a hay bale, she soon began taking him into work for convenience when one dog needed blood one day, and Bryant noticed Rascal was healthy to assist. Rascal has now donated multiple times. They haven't even been able to keep track anymore.